Hey everybody. As you all know, we've all been really sick, and we're still dealing with the sickness. But I wanted to give a quick update as to what's going on and some things that God has been showing me. I wanted to share. So, like I said, everybody's been really sick. I had a kidney infection. Adam's had a really, really high fever, and his nose and throat are messed up, and he's coughing a whole lot, and when he coughs his chest burns, and it's actually gotten worse even though we went to a doctor and got meds and everything. Charlotte has a fever and her nose is starting to run and she can't breathe, and Noah can't breathe out of his nose. And Charlotte's developed some sort of weird ulcer on part of her gum, on one of her eye teeth, and we're just a hot mess. But through this, God's been showing me some things, and I wanted to share with you just briefly. So last night, Thursday night, after everybody went to bed, I was cleaning because there were just lots of things to do. Laundry, I had to do dishes, there were toys everywhere. I was exhausted, to say the least, and I was starting to clean up when the Lord told me, reminded me about the story in Luke, where Mary and Martha are there with him, and Martha's busy cleaning and Mary is sitting at his feet listening to him. And so I felt like he told me to leave my busy work and to come and spend time with him. So I began to pray, and I really felt like my prayers weren't going anywhere. They kind of were hitting the ceiling and they weren't going anywhere. So I was really frustrated because we hadn't seen any healing, and like I said, Adam was getting worse. And I know that a bunch of you back home have been praying for us, and it was even more frustrating knowing that we have a lot of people behind us praying for us, and God hadn't moved yet as far as healing, and I was desperate. I was in a place of just desperation for God to move and to bring healing upon our family. So during this time of frustration, God brought to my mind the passage in 2 Chronicles 20 when Jehoshaphat sends out before the warriors in battle instrumentalists and singers, and he sends out worshipers before the warriors to go into battle. And for me, it was a question of, have you been worshiping me? And it made me have to stop and think that since I started having the kidney infection, which was the 21st, I had done no worshiping. I was so caught up in my pain and my family's sickness and our trial that we're having right now, the storm that we're in. I hadn't stopped and had a personal time of worship. And it wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to worship. I wanted to pour out all my requests and my desperation before the Lord. And I really felt like I needed to worship first, even though I didn't want to. And so I started worshiping, and I just started seeking God, not seeking what he could do for me or his healing or anything else, but just to solely seek him and his face and his glory. And I gotta tell you, it was an amazing time of worship for me. I just took delight in the good Father, and just had an amazing time of worship and prayer, and just seeking God for who he is and not what he could do for me. So as I was worshiping, I felt like God brought to mind Psalm 117, which says, talks about praising him for his steadfast love and his faithfulness that endures forever. And so it was an encouragement for me that despite the storm, God is still good, and his faithfulness endures forever. So after I got done worshiping and praying, I went up and I checked on Adam, and I realize now, looking back, that during the time of prayer and worship that I was having, I hadn't heard him cough, which was extremely rare because he was coughing so much. And he was in bed, and I went up and I asked him how he was doing, and he said, my fever is gone. I'm not coughing as much. I don't hurt all over. I can breathe through my nose. My stomach's not upset like it was. And he said, I don't know what you did, if you said a prayer or something, but I feel a lot better. And I went and I checked on the kids, and the night before, they couldn't breathe out of their noses at all. There was lots of snoring in their room because they couldn't breathe. And I went over and I looked at Noah, and he was breathing through his nose just fine without any sort of obstruction or anything. And I went over and I looked at Charlotte, and the same thing, and it was amazing. And I can't tell you the awesome power of the Lord that we experienced, and still are experiencing, because we're not totally well yet, but we know that it's coming. And I don't know, it was an amazing, I went to bed feeling very at peace and very encouraged that the Lord was moving. And this morning, while I was doing my time of worship and prayer, I really felt like the Lord led me to Psalm 27, verse 14, that says, wait upon the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait upon the Lord. And this was a huge encouragement to me. I mean, it spoke very loudly of what I needed. I needed to wait upon the Lord and his timing, and be strong, stay strong, and take heart, take courage that it's all under control. It's in his timing, and it's really hard for us because we want instant gratification. I know I do. I want instant results. I want instant healing, especially being away from everything that we've ever known, family and friends that can, be there and help us. So it was a huge encouragement for me today. And I know that, we're still in this battle of being healed completely, but worship is such a key part of our lives. And I want to encourage you that if you're in the midst of a trial or a tribulation, a storm, whatever it may be, take heart and just worship the Lord in the midst of pain. I know for me, it was super hard to do that because I was so caught up in my own pain and my own trial that I didn't really want to worship. But I think it's so important that as we go into battle, that we worship God for who he is, not necessarily what he can do for us, but just who he is. He's worthy. And I just want to encourage you to stay strong, to take heart, and to wait upon the Lord. So we love you guys, and until next time, bye.